garden again. How nice the weather's been. I just hope it's not too windy and we don't get too much noise. But we're going to start this week with a game. I know how much you love playing games and I'm going to play along with you. Right, what we're going to do, I'm going to shout out some things. Now, these are things that we do. We might do these things every day, we might just do them once in a while. But what I'm going to do, I want to ask you if it's something that only a child will do, or only an adult would do, or a grown-up, or something that they both do. So if I say that it's something that only a child does, then you have to run this way. And if it's something that only an adult does, you've got to run this way. And if it's something that they can both do, then you have to stand still and turn around. So you can remember that. So if a child does it, run that way. And if an adult does it, run that way. And if they both can do it, you stand still and turn around. Are you ready? Now, the first one is wear a nappy. To grown up. Now, this way. So children only do that, don't they, or babies? How about drive a car? Grown-ups. Back we come. How about make a cake? Oh, I think we can all do that, can't we? How about, let me think. How about go on holiday? We can all do that. How about go to school? This way. How about go to work? This way. Right, well, I've done a few, and I think the grown-up you're with can shout out some more to you, and you can play that game for a bit longer. So if you want to play for a bit longer, just stop the video and you can have some more fun with that. I think we can see from that game that there's some things that only children do, and there's some things that only grown-ups can do. I hope you children won't try to drive your mum and dad's car, because that's something that only grown-ups can do. Now, there's two stories in the Bible, two particular stories that we're going to look at today, that tells us that even if you're young, you can listen to what God says to you and you can tell people about God. And that's such a great thing to do. That's not something that only grown-ups can do. The first story I'm going to tell you is about a young boy called Samuel. Here he is. Here's Samuel. He was very young. He served the Lord under an old man called Eli. So he lived with Eli and he helped him. One night, when Samuel was fast asleep in his bed, there he is, and Eli was also fast asleep in his bed, the Lord called out to Samuel. He said, "Samuel, Samuel." Samuel thought it was Eli calling him, so he jumped up and he went to Eli's room and he said, "Yes, Eli, here I am. What is it you want?" But Eli said, "No, Samuel, I didn't call you. Go back to bed." So Samuel went back to bed. He was fast asleep, and then he heard the voice again, and the voice said, "Samuel, Samuel." Samuel thought it was Eli again, so up he jumped and went to Eli's room. And he said, "Here I am, Eli. What is it that you want?" And Eli said again, "No, Samuel, there's nothing I need. Go back to bed." So the third time, Samuel went back to sleep. But guess what happened? He heard the voice again. "Samuel, Samuel." So Samuel jumped up and went to Eli again. And he said, "You called me?" And Eli said, "No, Samuel, I didn't call you." But Eli realized that it was the Lord calling Samuel. And he said to Samuel, "The next time you hear the voice calling you, it's not me calling you, it's the Lord. So you say, 'Yes, Lord, it's Samuel here. I'm listening. What do you want me to do?'" So Samuel went back to bed. I'm not sure he really thought that the voice was going to come back again. But he was fast asleep. And the voice said again, "Samuel, Samuel." But this time, Samuel said, "Yes, Lord, your servant is listening. What do you want me to do?" Now the Lord gave Samuel a message to go and tell Eli. He had a special message for him to go and tell the people. So the Lord told Samuel what to say. Now in the morning, Samuel went to Eli, and Eli said, "Did the Lord call you again, Samuel?" And Samuel was so excited because he had. So Samuel told Eli what the Lord had told him. And he said, "Well done, Samuel. I will go and tell everyone else." Now, you can be just like Samuel. God can talk to you too. You can tell your friends about all the things you've been doing in Mini Uber. When you see them again, that is. And here you are, you can tell all your friends the good news about Jesus. So don't forget, you're not too young to be able to hear God's voice when he speaks to you. One of the best ways that we can hear God's voice is when we pray, isn't it? And we're going to do some special prayers at the end. But I think now I'm going to do something very... You've got to be able to listen really well with this. Do you remember a few weeks ago we were listening to some bird sounds and sounds of aeroplanes and cars and all sorts of different noises, weren't we? But this time I am going to speak very, very quietly, just like the little voice. And I'm going to see whether you can tell what I'm saying. Okay, are you ready for the first one? I like chocolate. Did you get what I said? I'm going to say it again. I like chocolate. I wonder if you guessed what it was. I'm sure you like that too. I said, I like chocolate. I haven't got any here though today. Oh, I'm not going to eat any sweets today. Now, here's the next one. Are you ready? I like sitting in the sunshine. Shall I say it again? I like sitting in the sunshine. I wonder if you do that too. Do you like sitting in the sunshine? I bet you do. Ready, here's one for you. Here it is again. I like playing with my friends. Did you get it? Do you like playing with your friends? I'm sure you do. Now, there's some things that I think sometimes we don't hear because we don't want to hear them. What about if your mum says this to you? Can you tidy your room, please? I bet you didn't hear that one. Can you tidy your room, please? I wonder if your mums and dads say that to you. Can you tidy your room, please? And do you like to do it? Not sure. I bet you do. I'm sure you're really, really helpful. So sometimes we have to listen really carefully to what people say to us, and then we'll be able to pass on the message, won't we? We can do that sometimes. We can whisper into each other's ears too, a special message. We've done that. It's called Chinese whispers. You might be able to play that at home. I'm sure your parents will know how to play that. You whisper something to someone, and then you have to whisper the same thing to the next person and see if the message is the same at the end. That would be a fun thing to do. Got some very special friends here now who are going to tell us another story about a young boy in the Bible. This story is very familiar to you, I think, and it's about a young boy called David. So we've got Amy now who's going to read the story for us, and she's helped by her two children, Elijah and Lily. So let's see what they're going to do to tell us the story. Here we go.
The Giant and the Boy. The giant's name was Goliath. He was very fierce. He didn't like God's people. He really scared them.
Ha, ha, ha!
Laughed Goliath.
Come and fight me!
The boy's name was David.
I'll fight you!
He said,
Ha, ha, ha!
said Goliath.
You're very small! Ha, ha, ha!
Said Goliath.
I got a big sword! You've got very small stones! I trust in God.
Said David. He slung a stone.
You did.
Thud. Goliath fell to the ground. David was only small, but he put his trust in a great big God.
Hello everybody! Thank you so much for that great story. That is one of my favourite stories, David and Goliath. Now, I've got a little friend here visiting me today.
Hello.
This is Siobhan. Say hi!
Hi!
So, he's joining us today because we are going to do some fun things. And you can join us as well if you want. Now, in that story, David was just a small boy, wasn't he? Small boy. And nobody gave him any chance that he could win the giant because he was so small. Yeah? And Goliath, he was kind of big, right?
And people have said that he was as big as a giant.
Exactly. In fact, you know what? I know how tall he was. He was 9 feet tall. Do you know how tall that is?
It's
quite tall,
just
isn't
the same
Yeah.
as 2.7.
Meters. Yeah, it's right. It's the same. We checked it. It's 2.7 meters tall. Now, we weren't quite sure exactly how tall that is either. It's quite a lot, isn't it? So you know what we're going to do? We are going to use this measuring tape. Yep. And we are going to measure and see how tall Goliath was. And we're going to measure out each other, aren't we? And see how tall we are. And check if we are a bit smaller than Goliath, right? Yeah. Okay, let's go do that then. Come on. So, let's see how well you remember that story. Can you tell me what was the thing that David was really good at? What do you think his special talent was that he used to win Goliath? Let me hear. Yeah, I think you are right. David was good at using his slingshot, wasn't it? That's right. Yvonne, can you bring me your slingshots quickly?
Yeah.
Let's show them. So this is a slingshot, almost like the one that David used when he was fighting Goliath. Now a slingshot is quite a small thing, isn't it? And Goliath had a really big sword, really sharp sword, isn't it?
Yeah.
But David trusted God. And what does it mean to trust God?
It means when you believe in him and know that he's your savior.
That's right. So that's the thing. David believed in God. He knew God would help him. And he used his special talent of using a slingshot. And that's why he won Goliath, even though he was smaller. There you go. Go play with your slingshot.
Thank you.
Go practice. So, right. Now, when we use our special talents, we just heard that if we do that, then God can use us to help other people, right? Now this week, I want you to think carefully. What kind of things are you good at? Maybe you are good at telling jokes. Maybe you are good at singing. Maybe you're good at helping somebody to bake a nice cake or cupcakes. Maybe you are good at, let's see, reading a book. Are you good at reading? Maybe you're good at writing something or drawing like Yvonne. So, I want you to think of something that you are very good at. And then, maybe you and your parents can make a plan together and think of something you can do for a friend or if somebody in your family or another adult or a neighbor using your own special talent. And ask God to help you with that, to make that person really, really happy and to make them feel really special. Remember, it doesn't matter what age you are, you can do something special for somebody else and God can use you. So, before we say goodbye, I'm going to go and see what Yvonne is doing. And if you want to come and have a sneak peek, we'll see if he is as good with a slingshot as David was. Bye!
It looks like Rita and Yvonne had great fun in their garden playing with that huge Goliath. And wasn't Yvonne good at using his sling? All those stones he had to use as well. So that was a fantastic story too. So we've heard about two young boys in the Bible today, haven't we? And there's another verse in the Bible, and it says, "Don't let anyone think less of you because you are young. Be an example to all believers in what you say, in the way you live, in your love, your faith and your purity." Now that's found in a book called 1 Timothy. Perhaps you could look that up with your parents. So just because you're young doesn't mean to say you're not important. You can have a very important job to do. Perhaps you could do what Rita said this week. Perhaps you could make a cake for someone, or draw a lovely picture for someone, or just do something really kind and special for someone. It may even just be saying hello to your neighbour who's not seeing many people at the moment. So do a really special job this week. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these before. This is called a Russian doll, and it's very, very special. Because here, if you look, this one maybe looks like your grandma. So this is an older person. Now, if I open it up, oh, there's someone else inside. Oh, this one's a little bit smaller. This one perhaps is like your parents. This one is a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, isn't it, than this one. So here's the granny, and here's maybe the mum. But let's see what happens if we open this one up. There's another one inside. Can you see this one is just a little bit smaller than this one? So this one could be like maybe your teenage brother or sister. So we've got the grandma, we've got the mum, and we've got the teenager. I wonder if there's another one inside. Let's have a look. Yes, there's another one inside. So, a smaller one than the teenager. This might be like you, who's like a school-age child, or someone a little bit younger than that maybe. So, can you remember who we've got? We've got grandma, we've got mum, we've got teenager, and we've got a school child. Do you think there's any more in there? Let's have a look. Yes, we've got one more. So we've got the school-age child, and we've got a little bitty one. Do you think this one's like a toddler or like a baby maybe? So whatever age you are, it doesn't matter. We all have a job to do. Even if you're tiny, or if you're a bit bigger, or a bit bigger still, or a bit bigger, or even when you're really old like me. So if you're really old or if you're really small, we all have an important job to do. So don't forget that this week. You're just as important just because you're young. So see you all next time. Have a great week, everyone. Bye for now.